Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat?
Saints win offensive line in round one. Again, man, they got a good player. Kelvin Banks, 3-year starter left tackle at the University of Texas, a guy who saw every single snap of his career, is our buddy Erin Hogan from 102.7 ESPN there in Austin. Erin's good enough to join us now. Hey, man, thanks for the time. How are you?
Hey, Matt, good to talk to you. And, I think you did get a good player. The Saints fans got a good player last night.
Yeah, man, give me just a big picture perspective. When I say Kelvin Banks, what stands out?
Just maturity. Walked in here as an 18-year-old, as a true freshman, 5-star kid from North Houston, and started every game. Humble, quiet, hard worker. His freshman year, Matt, he, as a true freshman, was thrown in the fire because they needed a left tackle. And I believe in that first year, he went up against 4 guys who were drafted in the first round in that draft that April. Will Anderson being one of them, Will McDonald from Iowa State, kid from K-State as well. 4 guys that went in the first round that year as pass rushers, and Kelvin didn't give up a sack as a freshman. And I just think he got better and better. He can get more physical, but he just turned 21 years old, and that guy's going to, show up, go to work, and be a really, really good football player for the Saints for a long time, I think.
Yeah, it's a great point. He just turned 21 last month in March. So still a young guy with a ton of experience. One of the big questions here, Erin, is where does he play? The Saints drafted Tali Fuanga last year, played left tackle. Like, is this a thing where maybe Kelvin could play right tackle or guard? I mean, is he versatile enough to where it could look like something he could cross-train?
I would think he could. I know Steve Sarkisian believes he's a left tackle in the National Football League. Because as you just said, he's only 21. I think he's going to get more physical, stronger even. And the feet is what it's all about. I mean, his footwork is incredible. He doesn't get knocked off the ball, off his feet much. So he stays with his block, which is the key when you're up against these great pass rushers in the NFL. I think he can be a left tackle. And Fuaga, you could, put Kelvin at right tackle, I would imagine, too, for a little bit if you needed to. I just think he gives you a guy that is as solid as it comes. Also, he dealt with a lot of issues with his family while he was in Texas for a short amount of time. His mother got very sick, and Dad had to quit his job for a little while to take care of his mom, and he kind of provided for the family while he was here. So he's one of those guys that comes in with a lot of perspective, appreciation. But, boy, he was a 5-star kid that showed up here at Austin and played like one for 3 years. And I just think he could cross-train wherever you want him, but I think he can be a really good left tackle in the NFL.
He's on Twitter at Erin Hogan, ERIN, at Erin Hogan, ESPN 102.7 there in Austin. Talking a little bit about Kelvin Banks, the Saints' first-round pick. You did mention maybe the physicality. Erin, could you elaborate a little bit? Because, look, you talk about a guy that's the 9th pick of the draft. Obviously, he's a really good player, but everyone can improve. Where is the area, and how would you like to see Banks improve?
Just what you said. I think get a little more physical downhill. I do think one thing to remind your audience, Matt, is he only played 1 year in the SEC. And to a lineman we talked to at Texas, you guys know it very well. The SEC is a different beast than what the Big 12 was, and he played his first 2 years as a Big 12 player. And then this past season, I think a couple times you saw where he got up against some of those big daddies, war daddies in the SEC, and probably the first time coming out of high school, and then 2 years in the Big 12, where he really got pushed back a little bit and dealt with some of that. I think, again, that's a learning experience for him, and he won most of his battles last year. But I think just the first year in the SEC showed you a little bit that he's still got some work to do in the weight room, some of his technique, and just getting more of a pass blocking. I think he's going to walk in and be ready. But in the run game and getting physical, he's got the ability to get outside and be athletic enough on those outside zones or whatever you need him to do. I just think a little more physicality. He's got plenty. He'll learn how to do it. I just think this just 1 year in the SEC showed he's got a little bit of work to do on that side of his game.
Erin, was there? You always talk about players. You talked about this just a smidge, but I want to ask you to elaborate. Whenever there's a young person who all of a sudden comes into fame and money, you wonder how that might affect them. The NIL era kind of changes this, right? Because a lot of these guys have already made money. But can you elaborate maybe just on a little bit of Kelvin's personality? You talked about taking care of his family, but maybe how he's interacted with teammates or things in the community maybe that he's done with the type of person that the Saints are getting.
Well, I mean, I'll just tell you what Steve Sarkisian said when he put, this week when we talked to him about Kelvin. He said, he tells, his incoming players, if you want to be a great player, do things like Kelvin does. Act like Kelvin is kind of how he does it. He can't say enough about him, and I think that's across the board. I know a lot of folks who have worked with Kelvin in the NIL space that aren't, football coaches, and they all, he shows up on time. He's doing his part in charitable stuff that they do, and couldn't be more humble and kind. I mean, that's the kind of guy you're getting, and I think you heard Kellen Moore say it last night. I mean, our kind of guy was kind of that Chris Peterson mindset from Boise when he was there and in Washington. I think, obviously, on the staff in New Orleans, Bo Davis now and Terry Joseph would tell you that's just what that kid does. He shows up, goes to work, humble, quiet, and, he's not going to be a problem off the field, I promise you. New Orleans won't be a problem for him.
That's a great point, too, about Bo Davis and Kerry Joseph, having had that firsthand experience with him there in Austin, something we didn't mention. Hey, there's a lot of talk here that maybe the Saints might go back-to-back years with a Texas player in the first round, maybe Arch next year. 1 to 10 are odds that you think Arch Manning is in the NFL draft next year.
I broke up for quick.
Oh,
you
sorry.
Got me, Matt?
Yeah. Do odds you think that Arch is in? We're asking like if a lot of people here going, hey, draft Arch next year, right? Get your quarterback next year. Odds you think Arch, like 1 to 10, is in the draft next year, or does he return to Texas? Where does he fall on that sliding scale?
I would say right now it's probably 60-40. He's back for a second year. I mean, that's all indication he's getting. Texas could, take that next step. And, he decides he's had enough and he's ready to go. But everything he said to this point on this, which is a degree in the business school, and he wants to be the starter at Texas for 2 years, I would give that about a 40% chance that it could change. But right now I'm going to listen to Arch and go with 60-40. He stays for 2 years.
He is Erin Hogan from ESPN 1027 there in Austin. Good enough to join us. Get him on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Erin Hogan, ERIN, at Erin Hogan. Erin, I appreciate some perspective, man. Thanks as always for the time.
All right, man. Thank you, Matt. Anytime.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.